All right, in this video, I want to talk about building data on a fast-track civil site. So this is a perfect example of what we go through all the time. Here's an apartment complex. The owner gets everything together, plans go to the city, they get approved, and they get back in their hands, and the first thing they do is call the dirt guy and say, hey, you need to get out there tomorrow and start moving. And it's like, okay, great. Well, and then the owner says, well, we're not sure how many of what type of building we're going to do, but, these are the approved plans that the city, got, and we're just going to sort of go with this, but don't really go with this because we're going to change things and we'll tell you when. So let's just take a quick look, and I might as well zip on the PDF here and shut other stuff off. So you'll see we've got buildings here. There's currently 8 buildings. There's room for a couple more that we're going to kind of like loosely run in there. And there's a lot of detail to get it through the city, but a lot of this detail is going to go away. So it's up to us to get the contractor working, but not working so things are going to get screwed up. So in this job, and a lot of times we'll do this on a civil site where you just got to get out there tomorrow and start moving, we're going to give you basically 3 files by the time you're done. So let's talk about the first file we do. And the first file, and you can see here in the 3D layers on the left, all the stuff got in there eventually, but we don't have that initially. So what we've done is we've started with the retention area. We've got a retention basin here. We got a little bit of a flow line here. So there's some things happening that we can give you for your basic cuts and fills. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you something that's going to get you started. Okay, so our cut fill map shows basically, we've just got information where this side is fill and this side is cut, and the daylight line kind of runs through the middle here, and we're just going to move stuff from kind of one side to the other, if you will. And it's the daylight line kind of runs through here, so it's going to work, but we're going to get you out there and moving dirt, because that's the big thing and everybody's waiting for that to happen. So this is the first file. So here's the surface, and it's together and it's got you something. Well, now the next phase is we go through, and now we know what's going to happen with the buildings. So now we have the 3D building locations, and these are select fill pads, and the builder or the contractor wanted these pads specifically outlined in how they're going to look, instead of kind of squared it off like we normally would, to just sort of make it easy or do a blow up. They wanted to go tight and make sure they did as little select fill as possible. So that's fine, we can do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do sort of streets, because we think we know what the buildings are, the pad elevations are there, and we get a final set of plans, but it's really not totally final because they're pre-leasing and they don't know how many of what type of building they're going to put in, and size units and all that kind of stuff, and that affects the footprint. So this gives you a chance to start detailing out what the streets are going to do through here, some pull-in parking areas and stuff like that. Again, we move a step closer. So now that's done, and we turn into what's going to be the finished job. And let's see, let's do full curb. And curb edge of pavement, and we got a center line of a street, and then we're going to put some brake lines in, and these are 2 foot offset for the back of curb. You can kind of see that if I turn this up here. We just took that line and offset it to move in on some of those areas. It kind of bumps into the sidewalk. So with this done, we now have a decent looking model. So let me turn on our finished design here, and let's throw up 3D view and see what we got. And you can see, let me turn the vertical exaggeration up. Something like the small and flat. You see at the bottom here, it's vertical exaggeration of 3 times. And let's rotate it around here. And you can see that we've got now a decent looking site that has detail, and there's a lot of brake lines running through here in odd places, so it's just to make this job perform well. And now we have turned the initial rough grade into a rough grade, and then into finally the finish. Here's our couple rough pads of future stuff. They still don't know what they're going to do, but this gives us exactly what they need to finish this job, get out of it, and get paid. And we kept them working and tweaked the file and added to it instead of having to rebuild all along. Instead of doing something and then undoing it, we did things that we had to do along the way. So when the pads were in, the pads were in. When the streets were in, the streets were done. So we didn't have to redo everything or give me a quick finish grade model and then now give me a good final model, because it makes extra work for us, extra work for the contractor. So give you what you need, keep you moving, detail it, make the sharp points a little bit better every iteration. And in this third one, they got it, they finished it, and everybody was happy.